Welcome to Navigating the Customer Experience. Want to improve your organization's customer service? Looking for insider tips to knock your customer socks off? Then you're in the right place. Here's your host, Yannick Grant.
Welcome to Navigating the Customer Experience. On today's episode, our guest is Ty Givens. Ty is the founder and CEO of CX Collective, where she partners with ambitious brands to build customer experience programs that don't just keep up, they lead. Over her career, Ty has transformed support operations at every stage, from scrappy startups launching their first help desk to Fortune 500s rethinking how they serve millions of customers. Known for blending operational rigor with a human touch, she's passionate about creating service systems that scale without losing authenticity. Ty's work bridges the gap between vision and execution, equipping teams to deliver exceptional experiences that grow loyalty and the bottom line. So without further delay, sit back, plug your earphones in, and let's jump right into this conversation with Ty. Welcome, Ty.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Now, we always like to give our guests an opportunity to share a little bit about their journey. So could you share with our audience a little bit about how you got from where you were to where you are today?
Yeah, definitely. So I started my career in customer experience at the young age of 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
My first, desk, I guess, real job is the best way for me to describe it. Doing customer service, I worked for Office Depot. And within 6 months, I had applied to and got promoted into a position doing workforce management. And so I don't think at that time I really understood that I had started a career. I just went into workforce management and I was like, oh, this is fun, highly analytical, very technical, and I liked it. And so when they announced layoffs, and it was time to look for another job, I realized that other people did this too. I mean, that's the fun part of being 18 years old or 19 years old and not really understanding where you are in the scheme of things. So from there, I started to work in companies as an analyst, and then I ended up leading my own team for Intuit when I was 24. And then that was a fun experience, but a lot of growing. But from there, I started leading teams. So, I did workforce management as an analyst, manager, then a director, then global director. And then I started to run support teams because when you're working as workforce manager, your job is to give the business a plan for success. If the business doesn't follow that plan, you're still responsible for explaining the whys. Kind of got tired of that, to be honest with you. And so I was like, well, I'll just run the team and then I'll understand. So I did that for a while. And then I was brought in usually to mature and fix support teams that were really new or were very messy. And in doing that, I realized the companies were expecting me to be the fix or the solution, where what I knew coming from having worked at larger organizations is that it's not a one-person job. So after working myself into a frenzy, I decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go into companies with a team that can fix all of those things. And we spend shorter stints in there repairing, and then we move on. And so my company was born 9 years ago. So
Nice.
that's my journey. And here I am today.
All right. Excellent. All right. So what's been if you were to tell our audience, your greatest reward since you started CX Collective, what would that be?
Um, Actually getting to see the results of the work that we do.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be something as small as, revamping a client's help center to make it easier to search, or revamping it to make it where your AI bot can easily pull information from the articles. And then, on a weekly basis, checking back and seeing that we move the dial consistently. That
Mm-hmm.
feels really good. I learned that I'm a results oriented person, and that I love projects because a project gives you a point of completion. I'm
Mhm.
fine with new projects, but I don't think that I am someone who does her best work in a maintenance stage. So
Mhm.
I'm more so let's build it, fix it, make it better, and then I can give it to someone else to kind of take from there.
Sustain it.
Yeah.
Sustain it or grow it.
Yeah.
Brilliant, 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 brilliant. So, customer experience is one of the hardest, I would say, areas to work in an organization, right? Because you're dealing with people, and people are highly unpredictable. What are some lessons you've learned as it relates to building leadership skills,
Mhm.
as a leader over the years that you've transitioned from the different organizations, to being the CEO of your own organization for the past 9 years?
Yeah. So one of the most enlightening things that I learned, and I didn't learn it until I started consulting, is that there is no such thing as right in customer experience. And that was a hard lesson to learn because when I first started out, I naively thought that every company had this particular vision of what their support operations was supposed to look like. And when I came in and kind of gave them the Intuit model or the Herbalife model or any other company that I worked in, that they were going to see that and be like, oh, this is it. And what I realized is that no, like customers are different. Customers who are attracted to different companies are different,
Mhm.
their expectations are different. And the people that you work with inside of these organizations are different. And
Mhm.
so, what consulting forced me to do is to humble myself and to be okay with not knowing everything and being open to knowing what I didn't know I needed to know.
Mhm.
And so, I think over the years, when I go in, like one of the things that some of our clients say that I feel is really nice is that we don't make them feel like they're doing something wrong because they're probably not doing anything wrong per se. There's just a different way to do it to get the result that they want. And that's
Yeah.
really where I try to focus is like, well, what's your goal and what are you doing today? Oh, okay, I get it now. So, like, here's a way that we can go about that. Does that feel good for you? More of a collaborative
Mhm.
and as hands on as they want or as hands off as they like.
Mhm. Depending on the specific needs.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right, perfect. Another question we have for you is just kind of managing the emotional toll of leading support teams.
Yeah.
Again, because customer experience has to do with people, and I mean, emotional intelligence, unfortunately, doesn't come. I find not everybody has it. Not everybody has a high EQ. And, just how do you navigate through those spaces in helping people to grow and become more, highly proficient in that area?
Yeah. So when during my 24-year-old management phase, I spent about 4 years at Intuit. At that time, not sure what they do now, but as a middle manager, it was a great experience. I don't know what it was like for anyone else, but it was good for me. Um, but back then, we were required to do 40 hours of training each year, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is very generous. And during that process, what I didn't understand until I focused on my MBA is that I was actually getting an MBA curriculum. So I was getting paid at work to do an MBA curriculum, which is really nice. And there was a lot of focus on emotional intelligence and inquiry versus advocacy and not assuming, but seeking to understand. And so I went through all of that at that point.
Mhm.
Then I did my MBA in organizational leadership. Um, and I think that that helped me a lot. But I will tell you and anyone who knows me that I am not the best, or I shouldn't say, I don't know if I'm the best, but I don't love leading people directly because I feel like the role of being a people leader
Mhm.
um, is really about being a support to those people and helping them to reach their potential. Whereas I see myself more as an operator. And
You're a
so
doer.
I'm a doer. Like I like to get things done. And so I don't know if this is healthy, but I can compartmentalize emotions to just plug, right? And so not everyone can do that. And I recognize that. So what I have done to help make myself better for my clients, I started developing playbooks. So what the playbooks do is that they help leaders to kind of develop custom workflows for things that they may not already know how to
Mm-hmm.
do, but maybe someone thinks they do. So in a way, it's like learning content around a specific area within our CX world. And
Mm-hmm.
you learn that context in that area, and then you're getting walked through how do I introduce this? And so what that's done for me and my weakness is it's taken off of me the pressure to develop novice leadership, because I don't think that that is my win.
Right.
I think I'm more suited for, once you're about probably 5 to 10 years in, I can probably really help you. But if
Mm-hmm.
you're like 1 to 5 years, I might struggle because I'm going to speak in jargon or things like that. So the playbooks really help me to kind of bridge that gap for leaders that I work with.
Okay. Perfect. Now, could you share with our listeners, what's the one online resource, tool, website, or application that you absolutely can't live without in your business?
Well, they're my playbooks.
Your
I know.
playbook.
Yeah, because it's kind of weird to be like the teacher and the student, but in going through the work of creating them, it's grounded me so much in reminding me of the things that I need to be doing. So, for
Okay.
example, we have one on time management,
Mm-hmm.
and in that, I talk about carving out time to think. And it was almost like it was, I don't know what the right term is, but it was a reflection. Like I was holding up a mirror, like, no, you need to carve out time to think.
Right. Like you're
So
relearning. You're telling someone else to do it, but you're
yes,
relearning it for yourself.
I'm learning it. And I'm like, and it's kind of like, I think what people kind of view consulting as typically is like someone telling you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And whether or not you do that thing, it doesn't matter, because then they can lean on the outcome and say, well, you didn't do it right. Right. In
Right.
this case, I am not only saying, here's what I recommend you do, but I'm almost like I'm coaching myself. I'm coaching my
Mm-hmm.
younger self. I'm coaching my future self to say, and you need to do these things too. And
Yes.
so um even from metrics, like it's highly operational, it's based on performance, it's based on strategy. It is just the things that we go through as leaders of CX teams, where you kind of wish that you could like nudge someone and go, what do you think, like how should I go about doing this thing? And there's nobody for you to talk to because you are the head of CX in your company. Like
Mm-hmm.
these playbooks are kind of like that nudge, if you will. That's the somebody that you can kind of go to and go, well, how, like I'm facing this issue, our ticket volume has doubled. I'm thinking about AI. I don't even know where to start. And then like we have a playbook on how to even consider an AI program. What does that mean? How do you communicate it to your team? How do you communicate
Right.
it, upwards? Like different things that I wish that I had when I was growing teams from, 7 people to 130 in 9 months, because that happened.
Right.
So it's I feel like that's one of the things that I lean on. Also lean on different communities, and I've been trying to be more social and have more conversations with people in our
Mm-hmm.
space, or be a little bit more active on LinkedIn, um, just to be open to what other people are dealing with and going through.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel that I'm kind of lucky because I get the benefit of being like having worked inside so many companies, having active clients. I'm constantly getting information from leaders about things that are working or not working.
Mm-hmm.
And I can leverage those things in a lot of different ways. So I
Brilliant.
feel I
Brilliant.
feel blessed to be in the space I'm in. I get a lot of information,
Nice.
but yeah, I
Yeah,
try
I
to
know what you
really give
mean.
back.
Awesome. Okay, Ty, can you also share with us maybe one or two books that you've read that have had a positive impact on you? It could be a book that you read a very long time ago or even one that you've read recently.
Oh man, I haven't been reading much very recently. I have to be honest about that. Oh, let me think about it. It's been a while since I've read a book. I know that's terrible. Um, and actually, I don't read that much for business, and I know that that's probably not what people want to
It
hear, but
could
that's
it could be a personal book. I mean, I've had guests that come on that said, they read some sci-fi book, but there was some nugget out there that helped them to grow either personally or professionally. So.
there are a couple of authors, and this is from my favorite job actually was Walden Books, which doesn't even exist anymore. So I used to be a very avid reader. Um, I'll talk about my favorite author. I've read probably 80%, if not 90% of the books he's written, he's passed on. But Eric Jerome Dickey, he's an author who writes, it's fiction, but it used to be based in Los Angeles, and then he moved, and now stories are based all over the world. And my favorite thing about his writing style is that his novels play out like movies in your mind.
Hmm.
The way that he describes the scene, like you can see it. The way that he writes the writer's emotions and feelings, you feel it too. And so I think that is, if I were to think about like the Midnight series, which is ironically about an assassin, that's not my thing. But I actually really loved reading those books. And then another one that I love is Carl Weber, which I don't think he writes anymore. But or he helps other writers, but a lot of his books again were based on his area, things that he saw, and he wrote a lot about the church and going on and within the church. And I love them because I felt like I knew these characters. I
Hmm.
went to a writing workshop this past Sunday, and we were talking about the feeling that you get when you are like reading a really good book and you feel like you know those characters,
Hmm.
and you're kind of thinking like, oh, I wonder what so and so is doing, and you realize, oh, that's a person in a book. So I feel like those two authors have been able to really get me to feel that way. And it's been a while since I've like stopped to read um a book. I feel like I get a lot of content and information thrown at me in real life that I haven't taken the pause, and I need to. I did start
Yeah.
reading, I don't know where that book is, but there's one called The Secret Life of Customers about a coffee shop that was very interesting. But I fell off because life happened.
All right. So I remember the second author, Carl Weber. Could you remind us of the first author's name again?
Oh, Eric Jerome Dickey.
Okay, great. Just want to make sure we capture that correctly so that we
Yeah,
can share it in our show notes. Thank you so much for sharing, Ty.
you're welcome.
Okay, Ty, could you also share with our audience one thing that is going on in your life right now that you are really excited about? Either something you're working on to develop yourself or your people.
Um, One thing I'm excited about that's separate from development, my niece started at Tuskegee University this year.
That's nice.
Yes, I'm so proud of her. I am so, so, so proud of her. So that's like, I think I'm still kind of like on an auntie high just from her, you know, getting there. Like I'm bugging her and texting her every day just to see how she's doing because she's, so far from home. But that's probably my proudest moment. Um, Something that I'm working on to develop my team and actually develop myself. I'm being forced to stretch in a way that I never have before, and that is to focus on marketing. And I know that that sounds odd because I have a company, and you would think that all I do is market, but the consulting side, no, I don't market it. I didn't have to. Because our business grew organically,
Yeah.
word of mouth, people that I knew, that I worked with before, or, ironically, we just got a call today, not today, sorry, this week from a client, a previous company that I worked with 6 years ago. And the lady who brought us in there, she left and went to a new company and then brought us in there.
Hmm.
And then now we're working back with that original client. We have another client who's doing like their eighth project. So we have like had the benefit of people just, jumping in because we take care of things for them. But you shifted to me focusing on like the playbooks, and I have to get it out there. And that is hard. It's hard. And I see that like even within the team, you know, putting together a structure that's less fluid because a lot of our work has been so custom and based on what that particular client needs. And now we're trying to talk to a general audience. It's a whole new world. And so I am being stretched and pulled in ways that I did not even know possible.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Now, we always like to ask our guests before we wrap our episodes up, if you could share with us a quote or a saying that during times of adversity or challenge, you'll tend to revert to this quote. If for any reason you get derailed or you get off track, the quote kind of helps to get you back on track. Do you have one of those?
Yeah. My grandmother, oh no, I hope I don't get emotional. My grandmother passed away a couple years ago.
My
Um,
sincere
but
condolences.
thank you. Like she's her and my granddad. Actually two sayings. My grandmother, my grandfather would always tell me that I could do anything I put my mind to.
Hmm.
And he said that to me from a time I was teeny tiny. And it's amazing, like speaking life into your children, like, because I really believe that. And I've believed that since I was small because he said it to me. So whenever I struggle, like I always go, no, I can do anything I put my mind to. Like there's nothing I can't overcome. My
Amen.
grandmother used to say, lace up your bootstraps, which basically means get
Get it
ready.
done.
Yeah, and stand firm because you got to handle it. So I
Yeah.
think that anytime I feel uncertain or I'm in a space where I'm like, I'm not sure what to do, like failure is not an option. I have to lace up my bootstraps because I can do anything I put my mind to.
Brilliant. I love that combination of both.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ty. I know we had some turbulence before we got to this amazing space that we're in now, but with the Lord's help, it worked out. So thank you so much for
Yes.
joining us today for this interview. Really gained a lot of insight about you and your organization, CX Collective, and your journey, all of the different experiences that you've had that have molded you into the leader that you are today. And I'm sure the insights that you shared with us as it relates to what you're doing with your own clients, as well as, what's happening in the customer experience space and how you're really helping your clients to navigate through that and be better and do better to ensure they're meeting their clients' needs has really been, beneficial to me and to our listeners when we get an opportunity to publish and share this episode. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This was awesome. I'm glad to be here and I'm glad we were able to connect. So I appreciate
Yes,
your
indeed.
flexibility.
Just want to remind our listeners that you can follow us on X at Navigating CX and feel free to join our private Facebook group, Navigating the Customer Experience Community. Until next time, I'm your host, Yannick Grant.
Thanks for listening. For more awesome resources to take your customer service game to another level, head over to navigatingthecustomerexperience.com. See you next time.